final question. In the next couple weeks, a lot of attention is going to be paid to you when it comes to the Brett Kavanaugh nomination. You've had this before, but what's that like to have that attention?
Well, I like to say that, look, every one of us in the Senate, all 100 of us, have exactly the same vote. I have one vote, as does my junior senator from Alaska, as does the most senior member of the United States Senate. But I know that there is a great deal of attention that has been trained on me because primarily of the issue of Roe versus Wade and what will happen when Kennedy, who was viewed as that swing member on the Supreme Court, when he leaves and Judge Kavanaugh were to replace him, what then happens to the balance? And it's not just the balance on women's reproductive issues. There's so many other issues that are certainly a concern for Alaska's constituents. We're a state that believes very, very strongly in ensuring that we're respecting Second Amendment rights, for instance. But trying to identify or distill out and say that there is one issue that for me will guide my determination on this nomination or any future nomination for the United States Supreme Court, that's not how I operate. I have been looking at Judge Kavanaugh and his record holistically, just as I did with every other justice that I've had an opportunity to weigh in on, whether it was Justice Kagan or Sotomayor or Gorsuch or Judge Roberts. And so I am perhaps taking more time than some would like me to. Some on the right would say, you need to be deciding right now that you're going to be supporting him. And those on the left would say, you need to decide right now that he is just not acceptable. I don't operate that way. I will take my time. I will be thoughtful. I've joked with my son, who's finishing up law school, that I feel like I'm back in law school because I'm reading the opinions. I want to gauge for myself. And I know I'm not going to be able to ask him a question on what will you do in X case. I would not ask that question, and he would not answer that question. So what I'm trying to do is discern if Judge Kavanaugh has the qualities that I think we're all looking for in a judge: the judicial temperament, the character, the intelligence, the balance, the desire to truly follow the law rather than to try to move things in a more predetermined or perhaps political outcome. And so I want to know, how does he view precedent? What does he consider? How does he consider settled law to be settled? So I'm looking forward to the conversations. I think it's going to be more than several weeks. The Judiciary Committee has to go through a pretty voluminous records request. You have a judge who's been on the bench now, the DC Circuit, for 12 years, so there's a lot of opinions out there. You have his history in the Bush administration, so you have further records out there. So I'm going to be following all of it, and I am okay being in that space of people accusing me of being too thoughtful on this. I want to be too thoughtful. I think Alaskans expect me to be thoughtful, and I'm welcoming their opinions, their views. Everybody comes at it with something that they care about. So there's a process ahead of me, and as you've noted, I'm in the swirl because I haven't been pegged into either box, and I won't be pegged into a box. I'm going to do my own work on this, and I'm going to do what Alaskans expect me to do, which is be thorough and thoughtful.